This is the Penton Up, the Campfire meeting, and we are on number 231 from February 13. Today we'll have an open lines Friday. So we don't really have a lot of things prepared, but we will like to speak about some things that we prepare for you in the future versions of Penton Up. Yeah, this is a community gathering. We usually get here to share challenges and try to find a way to resolve issues from your side, or yeah, show new things that we have learned. It will be very nice to somehow help me a little bit on this one, because it's my also first time doing it. So I will try to break the ice here. I am not Dale, so a lot of things will not happen as usual. So yeah, this is a load code Campfire. All skills level are welcome. You can be a beginner or expert, doesn't really matter. We are here to help you with all your questions, challenges. So everything will be welcome to have it on the table, to have something to discuss. Yeah, it will be very nice if you can subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of videos, a lot of campfires. So we try to do this campfire each like most of the Fridays. So we do our best here. The agenda for this campfire is an introduction. We stop and say hello to everyone. Yeah, we will see if there are some submitted topics. As an insight, for now, we don't have any kind of submitted topics, so yeah, it will be a free chit chat. We'll speak about the contribution to the Campfire website, the community, if we have some feature requests, and yeah, of course, the nice dark corners of the Plantain app, and also the ghost stories. Yeah, then we will we'll stop recording and we'll have an afterglow. Yeah. If you have any questions, it will be very nice to have it at support.plantanup.com. We can prepare the topics, and we'll come prepared in the campfire. Yeah. Oh, hello. So I'm Razvan Stan. I think we met 2 weeks ago. Nice to see you guys here again. Nice to see that I am not alone.
Good morning.
Hi there.
Yeah, hello. Okay.
For those of us who weren't here 2 weeks ago, hello too.
Hello. Right.
Good. Okay. Yeah, as they usually do, is there something on your mind? Is there something that you want to bring and discuss? Issues, things that you find out, questions?
Quiet bunch today.
Yeah, it seems that I am a lucky one. I don't know what to say about that, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, if I did work through something over the week that might be of value to somebody else, and in fact, I was thinking of how to turn this into a contribution, but I haven't done that yet. But it had to do with I had a series of workflows that I needed to work through. And I wanted to automate the whole thing so that it would run in the middle of the night. And I chose to do the workflows, several of them like stages, so that I could do them manually during testing. And instead of then like redoing, creating a giant workflow with each of the actions, I just wanted to link all of the workflows together. The trouble was that it's possible that one of the workflows would fail, meaning that the conditions that I found, I didn't want to continue. something broke or something else happened. So I wanted to make sure that it stopped. So I needed to have some kind of a conditional check along the way as I built it. And I finally figured it out. I created each of the workflows, I modified them so that they have an opening, an input variable, which is true or false. Should I run? Is it okay to continue? Then in the actions of that workflow, I test that on each of the items. And if it gets through to the end, well, actually, when the item runs, it will change that. Is it okay to proceed value to false if it fails, and change it to true if it succeeds. And then I keep on going. So that's how I ended up solving it. And so instead of using gates and flow charts on the workflow process, I chose to do it that way with conditionals on the actions. I don't know if that's what you would consider the proper way to do it, or is there a best practice way to string a bunch of workflows together, but stop along the way? That was the other thing I was thinking of. Is there some way to, make it, instead of it going from start to end, can it have multiple endpoints so that it jumps out, it breaks out if somewhere along the workflow there's an error? And I don't know how to handle that. So the long-winded way of saying that I certainly solved it, and it's now working fine, doing it the way I did it. And I was just wondering if there's a best practice way of doing it.
Yeah, that's a very interesting way to do things. To be honest, I never try to do these kind of stuff. I'm a little bit curious now about your business logic that you want to resolve, like the thing that you are using this for, like the feature itself. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to see the how you use the workflows. But yeah, nice.
The input that I have is coming from another source. And so that's where the first thing is. I feel that if I'm within Planet App and doing actions to action to action, then I know the action is going to, I hope that the code is good, so the action is going to work as I expect it. So I don't do a whole bunch of error checking from action to action. I just build a stack and run it, and it's been very good, and I've not run into situations where why did that happen, kind of a thing. So that part worked. But when it's coming from somebody else, there's a potential that the process to get the information from them failed prior to getting into the workflow. So the first thing I do, because it's a huge database that I'm working with, and I'm getting almost 200,000 records a night. So a lot of processing, and I figured the smart thing to do would be to start by looking at what I got, compare it to what I have, and and then see what has to change. And then by doing it that way versus just throwing everything that I have away and taking all the new stuff in and storing that, seems to work faster. And there's some days that little to nothing actually changed. So my first step is the planning process of looking at what is there now versus what was there yesterday, to see, to build a plan of what changes. And if that fails, then I want to stop the process. I don't want to go and modify a database of stuff that, and break the thing that I have. So that's the heart of it. And then the next ones, they're probably going to work. But I thought I would just be consistent throughout the workflow. There's 5 stages in the workflow. And each one of those is a workflow in itself.
Okay.
And it was easy to do it that way, because then I could just hit run the workflow for testing. So during development, it was very easy to do that way. The stringing apart. So I've got stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 workflows. And then I have a workflow, what I call the workflow orchestrator, that runs each of them but and it gives me the answer. So what I did was with the first workflow is, with each workflow is I have I initialize an output variable that says this is the result of this workflow, and the initial result is it didn't get a chance to run, and I just say that as it, assume it's gonna assume it's gonna fail, and then as the process runs, when it's done, the successful output, which is what I ultimately want, it replaces that variable.
Initial value. Yeah.
So now I know that it was successful, and now it'll go to the next and the next and the next. But if it fails and the first one fails, then all the other stages will just report I didn't get a chance to run as their output. So, and then ultimately when it gets to the end, it's each one of the stages jumped. If it's false, then it triggers the false for each one of them, and it ends up being a false run. And then I get an email and early in the morning and saying that it failed, and then I would know, or I get an email that it was true, and I see all of the results of each of the stages, and it works out very nicely for me to review it real quick to see what just happened.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Again, we never done, at least I and some guys from here, I think we never build something like that. But yeah, speaking with you right now, I can see some cases where this is useful. So yeah, that will be a very good addition to our what's the name of that? Sorry, community contribution. So yeah, it will be very nice to have that one.
I'll see what I can do about, because of course the actions that I have that are in there, so I can't just give that as a
Yeah,
contribution. But I think I could build a little. I had built a test one with a couple of stages. Maybe I can take those and put them into the contribution so you can see the
yeah,
logic and see if it makes sense. And maybe somebody could comment on it that says, yeah, there's a much better way of doing this, or yeah, that sounds good. Do it that way.
yeah, for sure. Maybe yeah, we can do only the skeleton of it on like the architecture of it, and from there on, each one of us can go take it and drill down into the workflows or add new workflows and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
expand it.
I'd be curious. I tried doing it with with a workflow where if the workflow fails to jump out of the workflow, but I don't see a mechanism to do that. The only thing I see that I can do is a conditional, and but then the conditional has to merge back. You split it, and then you have to merge back to ultimately get to one endpoint in the workflow. You can't have multiple endpoints, sort of like an abort or a break, that kind of thing. It has to
Yeah,
load
yeah.
to the end.
I'm not the biggest expert in this one, but I think you in your main workflow, the one that is orchestrating, I think you are calling the workflows like directly. You are like execute workflow actions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can use a wrapper over that one, maybe execute actions. And in that one, you can have the one action, like your execute workflow. And if I'm not mistaken, the execute actions has the possibility to have something on error. So basically, if your workflow is throwing an error, it will stop in the execute actions wrapper in the main.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. And
okay.
from there on, you can treat the error.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
instead of linking all of these workflows, I have the orchestrator workflow, which is just one action, which is the execute action. And then inside it would be execute workflow, on error, quit.
Yeah, that's for first workflow. Then another one for the second.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That would have been
that's
a lot easier.
I don't know. I'm not an expert in in
Yeah.
plant and app, so I'm still learning a lot of things. So yeah,
Anybody else on the call that's run through this kind of a scenario where you've got a fairly large process, you broke it into pieces, and then you used one of those two techniques, either had to do a lot of additional, input and output logic to control the flow, or you used an execute action and just jumped out when you got an error?
So, yes, my method is very similar to what you've done, except I have a common variable that I'm setting in that orchestrator workflow, that passes into every of the sub workflows, and I test it at the end of each workflow, and then I have if the flow fails, then I have an alternate path that it jumps out to and goes to the end. So I have the conditionals after each a flow, a conditional, a flow, a conditional, where I'm testing that initialized variable. And
the statement you made about you jump out and go to the end. You can have a branch that bypasses a bunch of other things and jumps all the way to the end, and then can you have
well, it's sort of
multiple branches that end up at the end? So that would be like an abort.
yes. I mean, it's going through. It still has to branch back eventually.
Right.
And connect into the original flow as the very last step. But I go, I branch out to basically on the designer, it's a parallel line and once I get out there, it just stays out on there. I use it, the logic, also instead of just fails, I'm often dealing with shipment data and if the shipment's going via UPS or is a different flow than if it's going via FedEx or something like that to get different information. And I have to handle it differently depending on the data, which workflow to call. And that's
Got it. The thing I didn't know you can do, and I got to play with this a little bit to try it out, but it sounds to me like there are multiple branches, and then they all could go to the very end, merge, and then out. I always
yes.
thought that it was a one-to-one thing, but it sounds like you can have, branch 1, 2, and 3 all merge to the same place. And that, in my
Yes.
mind, is similar to the board that I was trying to do. And
It's
then basically I would have a line going straight down that would be, the start, execute my workflow, a branch, did it succeed, and then jump that, connect that way down to the bottom, and then out, and whatever I do at the bottom to get out. And then if it succeeds, then drop down to the next execute workflow with another test. And if it goes out, then it jumps all the way down to the bottom as well. And it's all jumping down to the same merge. I didn't realize that I could do that.
yeah. I'll while we're on the call here, I'll go see if I can find the diagram and paste it out here.
Nice.
So you can see
Nice.
Great. All right. Thank you.
The other question I had for you,
Yeah,
Don,
please.
Yeah.
was you mentioned that you're testing your rows. How are you to see if they change? What kind of tests are you putting in to test your rows to see if they change?
I have there's a bunch of files. So what happened was with the 200,000 records that I've got, and I don't know how many, there's 30 fields in each record. So it's a lot of data. So what we came up with is an API that they call, where they pass a giant JSON array of each of these records. And it ends up being called like 200 times roughly with about 1,000 records each. And so I end up, when I get those, I just put them into a file. So each one is a file. So now at night, late at night, I'm ready to do my comparison. I have previously saved the last night's files into a folder called previous night's folder. And now I've got my tonight's folder, and I use a PowerShell to open them and compare and build a list of what records I need to delete, which records I need to modify, which ones I need to add, etc., and build that plan. So that's stage one. So that's what I'm doing, a PowerShell. And then once I know what that is, I've built basically a JSON for each of the jobs that I need to do. And then the next is go in the database and do those. The other aspect I didn't mention was that once all that data is adjusted, there's a whole bunch of CSVs that the client wants to have access to. And I figured instead of running those CSVs on the fly for every visitor that asks for, give me all the data in this township or whatever, that I would just run it and have the CSVs there. And then if they want the data from the township, it's just a click and a output of a file. Very easy when they need it. So I just run all that at night. So the third stage after the comparison and the updating of the database is to update all the CSV files, whichever ones have changed, to throw them out and replace them with the new CSVs of the new data. The fourth one is, okay, now that I've done that, I want to take the input of tonight's stuff and throw out the old stuff and move the old stuff into the new stuff into the old stuff, so that I'm ready to compare again tomorrow night. Get rid of my all the planning and all the files that I had created in the process, so that I'm ready to start fresh the next night. And then the fifth one is I want to store some demographic statistics, but that's the 5 stages that I have, and each one of them actually, except for the last one where I do a compare, each one of those are PowerShells.
Okay, so basically you wanted this to be like supervised somehow in a way or another, right? You want to have like a little bit power over them, because when you said like you need to compare, add, see if something is changed, update, those kind of things, I think you can do it SQL merge or something like that. You can do, but that is not supervised, so you are not able to have power over everything as you currently have. Yeah,
I was
that's okay.
actually, sorry, I jumped in late. I was gonna actually ask that if you, Don, have looked into the merge command for SQL, because I've used that myself. Basically, for example, if you take, from my understanding, you're taking a bunch of API calls that are generating CSV files on your local system, and then at night you're batching it all into like one massive file that you're looking at of data ultimately.
Yes.
I mean, again, just from my perspective, I think it would probably be, well, whatever. I don't know what your limitations are, whatnot, but I mean, what you could do is in some way, shape, or form, get that information into a table into SQL. So you'd basically have like that day's batches of information. And then with a merge command, you have a source and you have a target. And you dictate based off the source and target in one kind of, it's a long, lengthy select statement, but it's one statement. And you say when your source, let's say, which is your data that's coming in, your target is your final output, your final table. If a source record does not exist in the target, you insert it. If a target record does not exist in the source, you delete it from the target.
Right.
If a target and source exist, but the data is different, you update it. So it gives you the delete, the insert, and the update all in one select statement. And SQL just basically based off of your, criteria will perform that change.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. The limitation I have is I don't know SQL as well as you. The other side of it is when I was doing it, the individual insert statements took a really long time. So by reducing the number that I had to do, and then ended up doing a bulk insert, it was much faster. But your thinking is that the merge statement SQL is dealing with the, what a turn would be a bulk insert. I mean, it's not going to do an individual insert for every one that's changed, because what I found was making those individual statements were taking a really long time. So the delete, creating the delete, and I had to do kind of in bulk as well, or not quite in bulk, but I had to do it in batches because the statements were getting too long. But your merge statement would be much smaller, I assume, because you just gave those 4 conditions or whatever it was, the
Yeah,
different in the
it's
first or the
usually,
last.
yeah, it's usually about 3 conditions
Yeah, right,
that
3
ultimately
conditions.
give you a delete, insert, and an
Yeah,
update.
yeah.
But I mean, it all depends how you're handling your data. I mean, if what you're basically trying to do is synchronize a table that you have with the latest information that's being brought to you, I mean, there really shouldn't be that much changes. If it's a nightly synchronization, I mean, how many records are actually changing with
Right,
regards to
exactly. I'm
new,
seeing,
delete, and updates? That's what I'm
right.
saying. So
I'm seeing a
it's
couple
on
hundred. Yeah.
right. So in the grand scheme of things, it's only going to touch your database when it needs to. So if a record needs to be deleted, it'll delete that record. If a record is missing and needs to be added, it'll add it. And if it finds that it needs to update a record, it'll update it. But that's that's it. Like it's not going to do work that it doesn't need to do.
Okay. So there will be the process of a bulk insert, because we've got the strings that come in from the outside source that are getting thrown into a file. So now I have to bring those in, and now I create a you know today's data table out of that, which means that's a whole bunch of bulk inserts, right? To create that first list, I wouldn't actually give SQL the CSV, would I?
I mean, the way I would do it, I wouldn't be using files. I would have the API actually inserting the data into a temporary table of some sort right off the bat. So, you would basically you could sort it then by date. So when the nightly run goes, like all you're doing with the API would just be inserting the data, just kind of prepping it and having it in a queue for that nightly run. And then that nightly run, when you are selecting your source, you select it from that table and say where the data is today's date. And then you're only going to get those records and
Got
then
it.
go from there. And then at the end of the whole thing, you can just wipe that table out. I mean, you don't even need to store the previous day's data, because what you're always doing is you're merging the incoming data with your live table, so that your live table is always synchronized based off of any potential changes that came in.
Oh,
But you
okay.
don't then have to do the comparison of a previous day to a current day to figure out, am I deleting, inserting, updating, and then doing that. All you're doing is, this is my source, this is my target, merge the data, make sure they're in sync.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, you can also work directly with JSON in SQL, so you don't necessarily you can have it temporary in your SQL. So we can create I don't know if the name of that is temporary tables or what's the name of it. So basically you can put your JSON into the SQL, into a variable, and have it like a JSON object there, and it will behave as a table. So you can access properties and everything. I don't know how it is with the complex objects, but yeah. Well, I think I did what you said a lot of time. I have the response in a JSON, put the JSON into an SQL, and from there on use the merge to update, delete, and add things. That I think, and it is also fast.
Yeah, I think I'll need quite a bit more
Yeah.
documentation on what all the JSON objects do and how they work, and maybe some better tutorials on those things to to understand them better, because I would have liked to. In fact, I started the process by just trying to use each actions to do it, but I wasn't sure which ones to use and how. The merge I didn't quite understand either, so I went to my intern Claude and said, "Hey, could you help me with this?" And he gave me the PowerShell. So, but yeah, I would like to try that. I don't know what it's going to take with the API call of 1,000 records. How long would it take to get back to the user without some kind of a timeout? Will it be, huge, or would it be relatively quick? And I'm curious if the JSON would the taking the JSON object that it's giving me, like this, it's a giant array of 1,000 records, to split that out and store that somehow, or at least take that and just quickly do a conversion, and then from there take that and put that in the database. So I'm not really sure how those pieces all come together.
Yeah, I think I can note down those kind of things, and I can come to you with an example, like a better example, if you want.
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay, very good.
It's been a good learning experience for me. I've done this now 3 different times, 3 different ways. And so again, this week I've got this workflow orchestration working in the various stages, each being a PowerShell. But if there's a much smoother way of doing it that that would be more low code, that would be nice.
Yeah. Okay, very nice. This was a very helpful chit chat, to be honest. Thank you for this.
Sure.
Okay, one subject, it is the dark corners. I don't know if you guys find things that you never know, or spooky things. They'll mention something about ticks now. I did not know about this one, and I am here for what, like 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. Oh no, more than 3 years. And I did not know about this one. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? But for me, it's something new.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we have on the table. So we have something very interesting. I think most of you guys know that we released 128, and in 128 we have Forms 2.0. It is in a preview state, but we want to discuss with you a feature on this one. So basically, we want to bring things from a normal form to the Forms 2.0, and one of the features is the client-side validation. They'll prepare an example form for us. Let me see. Please help me understand if you see the site, or you still see the presentation.
No, you see the site.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, I think most of you do know about these settings from the normal form. Is this one here, enable client-side validation? So basically, when you enable it and you have fields that has validation on them. Okay, let's wait for the refresh. Yeah, we can see right from the start that we have validation on the fields. But if you disable this one, the validation will happen after the submit. One moment. Or right before the submit action are executed. One moment, saved. Okay. Let's see. There is no validation, as you can see, and if we press submit, we see the validation. So our question here is that, do you use it? How do you want to have it? Like, have it always on like client-side validation enabled, and yeah, or have it on false all the time? How do you feel about this feature?
I've done both.
Okay. Good. Good
I
to know.
use both. I like having both.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay, so from your answer is something that we will like to propagate to the forms 2.0, right? So you will have cases where you have it on true, and you will also have cases where you will use the server side validation.
Yes,
From my
right.
perspective, it's I use the server side almost
Server side.
exclusively.
Okay, okay.
I don't think I've ever unchecked that to enable the client side validation. I like the fact that on the server side I have more control.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. That's a good feedback. Okay. Uh, do you have some use cases maybe that you can provide, or like in what case you will have it on the client side, in what case you will have it on the server side? What is the deterministic factor to go there and check that box?
So I like it to be on server side on things like an email address because if it's happening on client side and a person is typing their email address, there's going to be a message underneath the box telling them that it's not formatted correctly the entire time they're typing. And well, I think it's a little bit rude to be told you're not doing it right when you're you're still doing it. So yeah, I monitor the communication that's going out to the user, and that is that's an uncomfortable thing that does I think it doesn't need to be there. I want to be able to control that so it's not.
Okay, okay, that's a very good case. Nice. And basically, you want to have it like on the client side. The validation you want to be on the client side more
So,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, sometimes.
sometimes. Okay. So basically, when you want to have the like instant feedback from the application to the client, right? I don't know, money, something like that, amount of money, or I don't know, like the format or something else. Okay, okay, that's good. Yeah, this was something that we wanted to get out from you guys to understand what how you use it, what are your needs, and yeah, if you like to have it on Forms 2.0. Yeah,
On
yes, please.
larger forms, in my situation, when I've used it before, it's been on
Yeah,
larger
exactly.
forms
Yeah.
because once the for some submitters, out of sight, out of mind, they've typed something, they're down to the bottom of the form, which is now the rest of the stuff is scrolled off the screen, and they click and they get an error. Now they have to go hunting for what the problem was. It's fairly obvious once you scroll back up that where the problem is, but not always. And so I like it for larger forms where I know that they're going to be doing a bunch of scrolling, to let them know immediately that there's a problem. I get Mark's point is well taken. It seems rude, but I let it. I live with that. For those that do it wrong and they move on to the next thing, and now they know that, hey, you're looking right there where it's wrong, so don't be surprised when you click the submit button that it doesn't submit, that kind of thing. So that's the only reason why I would use it. Otherwise, I'm fine with it just being server side after submitting it.
Okay, very nice. This is also a very good case.
I guess it would be, I'm not positive because I haven't seen it lately, but I believe when you click the submit button and if there's an error, it just shows that that there's an error. I don't know that it moves to focus on the field that's in error. I don't remember if it does or not. but I suppose that would be the ideal thing, is to, once you click submit, that it either takes your focus to the first one, because that will end up scrolling the screen up.
Yeah.
And then and I'd much rather that it takes them to the first error, especially when they have to scroll the screen, because I know at least that they have to scroll down to get back to the submit button. So that by scrolling down, if they had 2 or 3 errors somewhere in a lengthy form, they would need to go past the next one or the next one that was in error and fix those as well, all in one time. That's how I would like it to work if it was purely server-side validation.
Okay, for my understanding, basically after you press submit, you should like to have the focus on the first error of the first field that is giving you an error, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll contribute a second to everything Don just said.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay. Very nice. We have some logs here. Okay, more logs. Validation wish list. Yeah, I think we already went through this one. Okay, let me see. Okay. Yeah. On documentation part, I think you already know and you're familiar with that one. Dale did a lot of contribution there. He updated the connectors page. The page related to updating Plantain App, we done a lot of changes there. We improved the cumulative hotfixes and so on. And we also, Dale also did an update for reCAPTCHA version 3 field type. So yeah, a lot of things happened there. Thank you, Dale. Okay. Yeah. Community forum, interesting topics. Let's see, what is this one Dale prepared for us? Yeah, I don't know if this is coming from you guys, but I kind of do not remember what is this about. It's something that is coming from you. Do you want to discuss something about the community forum and action for motivation and purchase?
I think that refers to a recent entry in there about somebody needing action form, but it wasn't available independently anymore.
Oh, I think it's coming from yeah, I think I saw something about it, and
yeah, it was right there on your screen when you went to the other one. It was the second one down.
The second
right
one
there.
down. Actually, yeah, now I remember what is this about. So basically, if you are coming from a DNN sharp environment, you are used to have like each module individually. So now we do not provide that like this. Basically, if you take Plantain App, you will get a lot of things like the forms, the grid, and a lot of other things, and also the part where you can have add-ons. So yeah, we'll not go with this kind of way of doing the activation. We'll not sell the modules individually right now. We move to the more Plantain App subscription plan, and yeah, I think this is about, if I remember it correctly. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, there are, if I'm not mistaken, there are no new Campfire contributions. I don't want to speak stupid things, but I think that's what I discussed with the last time. So everything that is coming into the Campfire contribution is welcome, and we like to go over the things that you guys put there. And to be honest, from time to time, I'm looking over the things there, and I try to see not only the implementation, but as I also asked earlier, to see the business case where you guys use it. So yeah, that is also nice.
Good. Glad to hear you're looking at it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, I try to move around all the like to move over all the systems that we have, but as you know, we have a lot of systems. So yeah.
So there is a new feature request.
It is in the I think I should be logged in, right? Yeah. Submit. Can you
have to go
provide
to the community.
the community?
That's where the new feature requests are. It's not, you're on Campfire.
Oh, why am I Campfire? Community, here it is. Yeah.
You should have a menu at the top.
Feature request, here it is. I was too down. Which one is the newest one? Both secure page to page.
That one at the top with that
Single
good-looking
encrypted
guy.
context token. Good looking guy. Very nice. Secure page to page data transfer. Signed encrypted context token. Wow. Okay. Okay.
So the summary version, I know it's kind of wordy. The summary
Yeah.
version, help us take data from one form to another,
Yeah.
or one page to another, or both,
Yeah.
preferably both. And I know there's methods for that. I would
Yeah.
say they reach into a little bit difficult to do.
Yes. Yes, of course.
And I know Plantain app is a wonderful, wonderful tool, and I have faith that you guys could make it easy on us.
Whew. Yeah. This one is something that we will need to bring in discussion in the product meetings. It's very, very interesting subject, context token. I think we do have something on the board in this direction, but I am not the one in control there. Let's go a little bit over it for me to understand it better. You did put a lot of time here. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who
So
hasn't
basically,
done that?
yeah, yeah. Well, that's something very interesting, to be honest. And right now, speaking from the developer point of view, I'm thinking at a lot of ways to do it, and I think it's something that we miss a lot. So this for sure, I will bring in product meet discussions. Yeah. Wow. This is like a feature on our board. Okay. Okay. Very, very, very nice. Very nice. 203. Let me note it down.
Thanks for looking at it. Hey guys, vote me up if you like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, very nice one. I think for sure Dale will bring that in discussions. I'm very sure about it. I think Dale already did some things with the context tokens, and yeah, I am sure that he will bring it up. Okay, so I think we somehow can stop here if that's okay from your side. I know if you want to bring something else on the table that is recorded. So I'm waiting for your answer here.
Oh, just a
Yes.
verbal thank you to Jim for posting a picture in chat about a rather complex workflow that he created that shows how the merge elements can be put onto the workflow. I hadn't seen something like that. It's very interesting because a long time ago, another lifetime for me, this looks just like old time ladder logic, it's called.
Yeah.
And so thanks for that. That's very helpful. I didn't realize that I could lay it out that way and route things that way. That's exactly what I'd like to be able to do.
I resemble that old time remark. And I also I wasn't sure how well readable that would be in the chat, so I pasted a copy to your email too.
Oh, hey, thank you very much. No, just seeing it just inspired me to be able to create something like that. I don't do enough in the workflows, and they're usually fairly short. But I do need to do more like this to see, to have them builder. And so I'm just getting used to the tools. I just had a multi-step, multi-action workflow that I usually just scroll and it just keeps going off the page to the right. And so I wanted to move them over, and it kept drawing the arrows in the wrong spots. And I'm thinking maybe it doesn't work that way. But eventually started playing with it more and more, and was able to do cleaner charts that fit on the screen. So now that I'm seeing what other people are doing, I'm thinking that I'll be able to create better workflows.
Okay, guys. Thank you for this. Thank you for your time. Thank you for helping me go through this one. It was very hard for me, to be honest. It's my first time doing something like this.
You did great.
Oh, I did because of you.
Very nice session. Very nice.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the best way that you can help us is to give us a very honest feedback on everything, and based on that we can improve our way of doing the things, and yeah, the application itself. Okay, let's see what they'll prepare for us. Oh, the afterglow. Okay, I will stop the recording here. Thank you for being here, and we'll see next time.